Thank you for clicking on today's video. My name is Jack White, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 lessons I've learned after working with over $146 million in e-commerce revenue. Now, after half a decade of working with big brands and small brands, there's a few things that I've noticed that separate the winners from the losers. And that's what we're going to go over today. I'm going to share with you these 4 lessons and maybe a little bonus one at the end. Lesson number 1 is that people are busy. And what I mean by this is that no brand is the focal point of any one of your customers' lives at all. They aren't focusing on it on a daily basis, which is why you need to advertise in the first place. This is also why reminders matter. One marketing channel isn't going to cut it, and one marketing piece isn't going to cut it. You need to step up how many emails you're sending, how many ads you're running, so you can get in front of your potential customer and your repeat customers even more. But this isn't spam. They require it. This is the nature of the beast of being a brand that does marketing. So don't lean away from it. Lean into it and accept that you can email your audience more times every single month without burning your list. Of course, you need to email the right people on your list, and I can help you with that. The point is, you should be sending more emails. You should be running more ads. You should be getting in front of more people, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. One way that I do this with brands immediately is resending emails to non-openers. A case study here is we increased recovered sales by 46% just by resending the same creative with a different subject line later in the day. That's kind of nuts, isn't it? Lesson number 2. Your audience is way more open-minded than you might think. I have a story that'll explain it all. I was working with this brand recently, and when we first started out like a year or so ago, the price of the product was high, but we started running ads and we realized it wasn't high enough. But we were skeptical about how customers would really react to this price change. So we raised the price and people ended up buying more. I think it created more conviction in the people that may have bought already. And the people that bought at a lower price definitely felt good about themselves. If we hadn't raised the price, we wouldn't have been able to run ads profitably and grow it as a company. In my experience with other things over email, with offers, being open-minded with how you do things pays more than it doesn't. And I think as long as you're honest with your audience along the way, they're going to react positively even to negative news, which gets us into lesson 3. Lesson number 3, people react well to honesty, especially if there's a story attached. I have another story to talk about this where another brand that I was working with had their products go out of stock, but instead of pausing their ads, losing momentum, what we did is we created an automation that let customers know that there was going to be a delay in their order and that they can still get a refund if they wanted to. But as a smaller brand, we'd appreciate their support and just sticking out the delay. And you'd be really surprised at how well customers take this. People enjoy supporting businesses intentionally. There's no way to feel about this other than great, because we are honest with them and they reacted positively to us. So it turns out being a good person, being honest and sharing your story with these customers pays more than it doesn't. So lesson 2 and lesson 3 kind of go together hand in hand a little bit. Now, lesson number 4 is, as a brand, do not downplay your impact, because it's going to take out a lot of color out of your marketing. You need to overplay every single little bit of what you do. If you didn't have your products on the market, your customers could have gotten ripped off by a competitor with worse ingredients or worse results, right? So you being around is super intentional, and you need to make it known to your customers that that's how it is. That's the story that we're going with. And as a marketer, you create the story. And a good example of this is Disney. Disney's really good at making everything feel big and lifting up the impact that they bring to their customers. They make documentaries about each individual ride and how the parks are built, about Walt Disney's past and how everything came to be. You can tell, one, that I have a fiance who's really into Disney. I've been exposed to that. But I've been exposed and I appreciate this brand and this vibe that Disney really sticks out on, and should be a North Star for people either just building a brand or people who are kind of trying to decide where to go with their branding. If you're struggling with how to make content or what to make content about, nothing is too small. Disney is a perfect place to get some inspiration. All right, so one final little bonus lesson is to play the emotional guitar string. Your customers want it. They want to feel something. And this ties into the last lesson, of course. But yes, your customers want to feel something, whether it's excited for a product launch that's going to happen or a holiday that's around the corner, or the fear that maybe the competitor of yours that they're currently using has ingredients or features that are actually bad for them. Or maybe the fact that you're going to sell out for an eighth time this year, and there's a chance that they may not have an opportunity to get your product for another 3 to 6 months, right? You can make your customers feel so many ways, and you shouldn't lean away from it. At times, it can feel very corny because, again, you're manufacturing these storylines and these events sometimes, but that's what you are as a founder, as a brand owner. You're creating entertainment, you're capturing attention, and you're creating an environment that people want to participate in. You need to play that emotional guitar string. Even if it's just scarcity and urgency, do it. It'll be very helpful. So those are 4.5 lessons that I've really learned from managing over $146 million in e-commerce revenue. Of course, it's 4 lessons over 5 years. There's so much more to it. But if you learned anything and you apply anything, let me know what the results are by DMing me on Instagram. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, have your Klaviyo audited for free, just book a call. It's going to be the first link in the top of the description. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so you're probably a founder, you have a brand, and you're making tough decisions all the time, but I just want to take a few more seconds of it. I know what it's like to be in your position because I've worked with founders for over half a decade, every single day in and out of Shopify and Klaviyo. You probably don't want another agency, and you probably don't want to add a retainer to your expense sheet. And trust me, I know you, I don't want to add that to your ledger either. So I've been in the space for half a decade and realizing that done for you is pretty much the best way for enterprise level brands to work. Done with you is the best way for non-enterprise level brands to work. And so I created a way that you can deploy my entire $40 million email marketing strategy in under 72 hours. Now, you need to qualify for this, but it's super simple and it works. This means you're going to get my entire system proven and running in under 3 days, which skips 3 to 6 weeks of typical onboarding time. I mean, you know the deal. Brands are always in their second retainer before any emails are even live. That's not a good place to be, right? So I make sure we get started really quickly. So here's how it works. You fill out a questionnaire. I take that, get into your Klaviyo account, install my 10 proven flows with over 160 sends. Then we get the subject lines, preview text, we get everything set up so we can pay attention to the data, which is where the real progress and dollars are at. Again, it's really simple, but you need to qualify for the system. If you want to see a little bit longer video about how this all works, you can click the second link in the description and watch the masterclass. I really enjoy being helpful, and I've been in the space for a long time. So the fact that smaller brands got iced out of this agency game and email results is kind of dumb. I really hope you enjoy these videos and enjoy the masterclass. And let me know what you think. If you apply anything that I teach, I do want to know if it worked or didn't work for you. I'm just a regular guy who's really good at emails. Now book a call. I actually am always excited to talk to founders and learn about their brands. I'll see you there.